What's up, everybody? Welcome to Moxie Bets, presented by Caesar Sportsbook. Tonight, the Chiefs and Lions. Today, we are talking also the full slate of NFL games. Welcome to the 2023 season. Let's get our guest in here. Kenny bets big, ready to bet big on the NFL season this year. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing well. Couldn't hear you for a second, but I cut in. You cut in just at the right time, introing the man, the myth, the legend, Kenny bets big, ready to make some more people a lot of money during the football season. But I'm excited to be back.
I'm excited to have you back as well. And you are an incredible sports bettor. That's why we have you on this show. But you are the resident mush for the 49ers. So just hoping you're betting against them today. All right, let's get started with tonight's game. So we had Danny on Monday, and we went through and gave our best Monday Night Football bets. Thursday Night Football bets. Whoop, get that around. But that was before the Travis Kelce news. I don't know. I mean, I read conflicting reports today. He hyperextended the knee. Some people are like, not that big of a deal. If the swelling goes down, we're going to play him. And then other people are like, it's Travis Kelce, obviously the number one tight end. You really want to get him out there on a game where he's not 100%. Obviously, we know that Kelce is going to push to play. It's going to be up to Andy Reid. What do you think about tonight? Do you think he's playing?
I don't know. I'm no doctor. I do follow a couple doctors on social media though, and they seem to think he'll be out, at least a week or two.
Okay.
But when you see all of the reports coming out of the Chiefs camp from Andy Reid, the owner, they all talk about how Travis Kelce is the ultimate competitor. He's going to be out there and playing. But I don't know, for a team that obviously their aspirations are Super Bowl or bust, right? Like they don't care about anything else. I feel like it doesn't really make sense to trot out your second best player and one of your most important players week one against a Lions team that I think, even without Kelce, I think the Chiefs should be able to handle the Lions tonight.
I agree with you. So when we were on last night, so this line it's dropped a full 2 points, which I think is a little bit of an overreaction. Kelce is the best tight end of the league. He definitely is the best pass catcher that the Chiefs have. And certainly Mahomes' number one target. But let's not forget, we all thought that the Chiefs were going to take a step back last year without Tyreek Hill. And in fact, they took a step forward. So 2 points feels a little bit too aggressive for me. Yet when it was 6.5, I took the Chiefs -4 in the first half because I was worried about that backdoor cover. But now that it's dropped 2 points, again, overreaction for me. I'm hammering the Chiefs -4.5 full game today. What are you doing?
Yeah, so this is a weird game. I was actually talking to the producers before we jumped on here. This is a tough game because the Lions come into the season with all this, hype around them. They're finally.
How warranted is it, though? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I was going to say, Katie, do you remember when we used to do the pregame show?
Yes.
It was probably like 2 or 3 years ago, and the common theme on that show was the Lions are the laughing stock of the NFL.
Yeah.
And now they find themselves, favorites to win the division. Their win total is over 9.5. So there's a lot of hype around them. And I say this every single season. You don't want to bet the dogs when they're the trendy, public underdog. And that's exactly what the Lions find themselves. If you wanted to bet the Lions, you had to get it at the 6.5 line. Taking a 4.5 line, you're just kind of, you're doing a disservice to yourself. That's over a long sample size. That's a losing wager.
Yeah.
But you also have to look at the Chiefs and their, record against the spread as favorites over a field goal. It's not the best. I think, what are they? 14-25 against the spread since 2020 as favorites over a field goal. So I'm probably going to play this game where if the Lions do go up early, maybe up a touchdown early, I'm going to jump on the Chiefs live. I do think the Chiefs win the game. Do they cover? I don't know. That 4.5 spread is always a tricky one. So I'm probably going to wait and see and just play this as a live bet on the side.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, when you bet things early and then all of a sudden one of the best players go out, everything goes in a crazy direction. So it will be interesting to see. But even so, looking at prop bets for this game, I, again, on Monday took Mahomes over 2.5 passing touchdowns. These odds have jumped up even more. It's now +126. In 5 week one starts, Kenny, he's had 3 passing touchdowns. In each of those, he's had 18 touchdowns passing, of course, and no interceptions in week one of the last 5 years of his career. So, yeah, we don't have Travis Kelce, and I also had Travis Kelce for an anytime touchdown. That's clearly going to be voided if he doesn't play. But Mahomes is still getting 3 passing touchdowns. I think we're overreacting. And if we learned anything in the Super Bowl, it's not to bet against Mahomes. So I'm taking that. What are you looking at in terms of props?
how nice of the sports books, right, to void that wager. Imagine you put the bet in on Travis Kelce to score a touchdown and and they honored it. How terrible that would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know better than anyone. I think Patrick Mahomes may have surpassed Tom Brady for me. Um,
Whoa.
Not really, but when you look at
Okay.
the playoff run last year, I made so much money betting on Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, coming into this season, week 1, I'm definitely not fading Mahomes. I like the passing touchdown prop you're on there. I'm gonna go Jahmyr Gibbs over 3.5
Yeah.
receptions.
Yeah.
He's a dual threat running back. A lot of comparisons to Alvin Kamara, and we've seen what Alvin Kamara does in the NFL. Catches a lot of balls. Little slant routes. In the flat route of running out of the backfield. But that's minus 131 on Caesars. So I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs over 3.5 receptions for the Lions.
I love that. And I have kind of a complimentary one for that. I'm going to take David Montgomery over 52.5 rush yards. Is at minus 123. So the big news, I think, and the biggest loss, rather, for the Chiefs isn't going to be Travis Kelce. It's Chris Jones, huge part of the Chiefs' rush defense. So I do feel like the Lions are going to utilize their run game quite a bit tonight, which, of course, that could help. Gibbs is a running back, but he's a little bit more of a pass catcher, too. So the Chiefs actually average about just under 4.5 opponent yards per rush attempt. So they're middle of the pack. I believe they're like 15th ranked there. So Gibbs is getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so. But I do think that people are sleeping on Montgomery a little bit here in the wake of all of this Gibbs hype. I do think that Gibbs is going to be more of those, like a Christian McCaffrey or a Kamara, where it's pass catching and running the ball too. And I think that Montgomery is going to be more of that like true RB1 ground and pound. And let's not forget, the Lions did just pay him $18 million for 3 years. So they really believe in Montgomery. And I think he's going to eat tonight. So I like him over the 52.5 yards. And I think that Gibbs can get those over receptions for you.
Yeah, I like that angle you have there. I was actually, when I was looking, I was thinking, should I go the Jahmyr Gibbs combo prop, receiving yards and rushing yards? But then I actually thought the same thing that you're thinking, where I think David Montgomery is going to be the real workhorse, especially early on for that Detroit backfield. Maybe as the season goes on, Jahmyr Gibbs will start to kind of take timeshare and steal carries from Montgomery. But early on, I think he'll be primarily used as a pass catcher. But so the last one I got for this game is Pacheco anytime touchdown.
Hell yeah.
Yep, you can find that plus 128 on Caesar Sportsbook. Actually, better odds. Some sportsbooks have this minus 110 for Pacheco to score a touchdown. Yeah. So Caesars, shout out them. They're giving us good odds here. But yeah, we just have to remember to last season, Pacheco was a huge part of that Chiefs, run to the Super Bowl. He was a primary back. So Rutgers grad, Jersey product, shout out Jersey. So I'm going to stick with him. If Travis Kelce doesn't play, we already know that he's Patrick Mahomes, security blanket in the red zone. If he doesn't play, I think they'll, kind of rely on more of the, maybe try and pound one in with Pacheco and get one in. And he can catch it coming out of the backfield. Yeah. So he's a dual threat running back as well.
I love that. And I feel like Pacheco's season props too, where the books were disrespecting him a little bit and not factoring in that he really is Kansas City's #1 running back this year. He didn't start that way last year, but by the end of the season, I feel like he really secured that spot. So his season yards passing props, his season yards receptions, I felt were all a little bit too low. So I love this. I love him getting in the end zone tonight. I'm going to tail you on that one. We are going to take a quick break, but before we get into Sunday's NFL slate of picks, let's take a look at some additions for the Manningcast third host.
Send him in. So, Jared, how excited are you about the opportunity to be on the most popular show on television?
Isn't this for the Manningcast?
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I play quarterback.
Ooh, quarterback. We like that.
You like that?
I just said that we liked it.
You like that?
I mean, what is this guy's deal?
Justin Tucker?
Are you lining up your audition?
Well, why would I do that?
I'm just here because your guys have the most punchable face in the history of punching faces.
Do you think a jaguar could defeat a giant?
Is this really what you guys spend your time thinking about?
Well, I've been doing comedy for a really long time, and so I just thought it would be fun to go the other way with it.
Sean McVay.
Have you heard of TikTok?
Stay off the weed! East of Omaha.
How are the auditions for the third host going?
Everyone is terrible.
Are you kidding me?
These guys got no chance.
Peyton.
Yeah.
I was saying Peyton.
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 I'm Peyton.
I'm Eli.
I mean, we're honored you'd even consider auditioning for the Manningcast.
Oh, no, I was calling to bundle my home and auto. Aren't you the insurance guy?
Let's get some sleeves on you, big boy.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think the job's for me.
I'm done.
Why should you bet with Caesars Sportsbook? 2 words, Caesars Rewards. Every bet brings you closer to the type of benefits only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, VIP experiences, sports and concert tickets, and more. It's not just an app, it's an empire. All right, Kenny. God, what a good video, right? I mean, so excited that the Manningcast is coming back this year. The end with Tom Brady. First of all, the fact that he's talking to a dog is hilarious. And he's like, oh, guess I might just join the NFL again. Guess I have to go back to being a quarterback. But great job by Omaha.
Yeah, I guess Peyton, he must have lost my invite in the mail.
Yeah, pick us.
It's all right. I'll let it slide this time. But next year, I want to be in that commercial.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, guys, you are back here on Moxie Bets presented by Caesars Sportsbook. We're going to take a look at the very first slate of games of the NFL season. And Kenny, I asked Danny this the other day, but I think it applies to you as well. Any advice that you would give bettors on betting week 1? Yes, you can look at last year's trends, but I think you just go a little bit lighter this year. I don't think there's a whole ton of analysis. We got to see what's going on this year. And so my advice would be don't take yourself too seriously. Take a little bit lighter, and then we'll get some good stuff to go on for week 2. But what do you think?
Yeah, just going to echo on that. There's a lot of experts, especially as betting gets bigger and bigger and bigger, who are out here, pumping all this different information, and it's hard to decipher what to listen to, what has valid weight to it. But yeah, you're right. You can't look at last year and then just kind of translate it to this year. Guys are older. Maybe they didn't work as hard. Yeah, exactly. There's so many different variables in the NFL game. So yeah, I always like to start the season, a little lighter, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go crazy. You don't want to blow your bankroll week 1, week 2 of the NFL season, because as the weeks go on, you can accumulate more data points. Which teams are very good against the run, which teams aren't good against the run. That changes year to year. So yeah, definitely, start off slow. Don't get crazy. Find a couple spots that you feel really strongly about and take those, and hope that it goes your way. If it doesn't, don't lose your head. Stay the course, and on to next week.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's look at some money line and some spreads that we like for this week. Looks like you're taking a dog here. You're on the G-Men.
Come on, Katie.
Come
that's my motto. I love betting underdogs, especially in the NFL. It's one of the better angles right there, especially when you look at week 1 divisional home dogs in the NFL. Katie, they're 25-13 against the spread, right? If you shrink that sample size dating back to 2012, 15-2 against the spread. That's week 1 divisional home underdogs. So we have the Giants at home, Sunday Night Football, island game, primetime game, usually where the public just gets, taken to slaughter. We all know most people are going to be betting the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, right? I think the Giants are a better team. You can make the case that Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott at this point. Yeah. Saquon Barkley, did we forget about what he does?
Oh, I don't know if I could say Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott. I don't know if I'm willing to do that.
If you take what I just said not to do, if you go off of last year, Daniel Jones was the better quarterback. And you look at Dak in practice, he's serving up interceptions like he's a waitress down at Golden Corral. So yeah, I love the Giants there. Brian Dable, he's a quarterback whisperer. If he leaves Josh Allen struggles a little bit. Daniel Jones, elevates his game. So yeah, I like the Giants. I like the pieces they brought in: Darren Waller, Jalen Hyatt, the draft pick out of Tennessee, speedy wide receiver. They added to that defense. So yeah, I'm pretty high on the Giants, and that's me saying that. I hate the Giants.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the Giants getting 3.5 at home Sunday Night Football.
I love that bet too, and I'm going to tail that with you. I know we'll talk about it a little bit later. It's interesting too because the Giants really believe in Danny Dimes. They restructured his deal to get some more cap space, giving converting a big chunk of that into a signing bonus. So he's getting a lot of that up front. And yeah, a lot of people are down and think that the Giants will take a step back, and I think it's because they surprised so many people last year. They think it's going to regress more to the mean, but I actually see the Eagles having the most regression in the NFC East this year, just from what we know about teams coming off of a Super Bowl loss and what that next season looks like for them. Plus, their schedule is a lot harder. So I'm with you. I believe in the G-men this year. Another team I really, really believe in is the Bengals. I actually have a Super Bowl ticket on the Bengals this year. I got it at 10-1. Of course, I hope that the 49ers win the Super Bowl, but you got to hedge your happiness a little bit here. And look,
I was going to say, you're not betting the Niners?
I don't. Well, that's the thing about me, and you know that, Kenny. I don't blindly back the Niners. I don't take those. I did take the Niners to win the NFC last year after Brock Purdy and everyone came in, and I saw that there was good value there. But no, I don't usually typically bet my team in the beginning of the season to win it all. I'm a little too pessimistic for that one. I'm hopeful, but I'm not going to do it. But I really, really believe in this Bengals squad. Now, they haven't done too well in the Battle of Ohio traditionally against the Browns. The Browns have actually won 5 of the last 6 of those matchups. Bengals are laying 2.5 under a field goal for this game. Joe Burrow's going to be healthy. The offense is going to be healthy. He just said, everyone said, how have you been feeling the last 6 weeks? He's like, I'm bored. I'm ready to play some football. And we know this Battle of Ohio and the fact that they haven't been able to beat the Browns is in the back of their head. And the Browns right now are a little bit banged up on defense. This Cincy offensive firepower is elite. And I don't really believe in Deshaun Watson too much. I won't be surprised if he's good, and I won't be surprised if he's bad. I do think it's going to take him a little bit of time to get up and swinging a little bit. So give me the Bengals for under field goal here.
That's a dicey one. That game could go either way.
Yeah.
I have learned, unless you're riding with Mahomes, don't fade Joe Burrow. So that's a game I'm going to stay off of, because I wouldn't be shocked if the Browns won that game. But like you said, I also wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals win going away by 2-3 scores.
Yeah.
The Bengals on paper, definitely the better team. It just comes down to how healthy is Joe Burrow, right? We saw last preseason, he was a little banged up, came in week 1. They lose outright to the Steelers as big favorites. So if Joe Burrow's healthy, that offense and that team is just going to go as Joe Burrow goes. He's one of those quarterbacks that can elevate the team and everyone around him to do great things. So I don't hate the Bengals pick, though.
All right, so here's my big dog of the day. You gave the Giants as a dog. Give me the Dolphins money line against the Chargers, plus 140, which seems a little crazy considering y'all know me. I'm high on Justin Herbert, and I like the Chargers, especially now that they are healthy. I also think that Kellen Moore is a huge upgrade for them. But the Chargers just find so many ways to lose games that they should win. So until they prove otherwise to me, I'm really hesitant to back them. I do feel like Miami, both of these teams have something to prove this year. Both of these teams definitely are motivated to get out there and get the win in the first week. But I kind of just feel like Tua might be extra motivating considering all of this off-season chatter and can he stay healthy, and nobody wants to back the Dolphins. Ryan Clark compared him to a stripper as well, which was a little bit crazy. I know they have no Jalen Ramsey, which is going to hurt the secondary, especially against Justin Herbert and a very, very pass-happy team like LA. But I'm actually really high on Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator and what he can do with this defense. I think he's going to scheme up some ways to stop Herbert and get this upset here in LA. So I'm taking Dolphins plus 140.
Yeah, I don't hate that one. I'm high on Justin Herbert as well, but I think you made a good point. I think that's something that a lot of people overlook oftentimes is those coordinators and how important they are to really getting the teams dialed in. So yeah, bringing in a guy like Vic Fangio, I think he's only going to elevate that Dolphins defense to another level, which is going to help them because that offense is scary already with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and all those guys.
Yeah.
Plus, Tua, he's got the arm tribal sleeve now. He's doing
ready to go to battle.
Jiu-jitsu. So yeah, Tua's coming into this season with a chip on his shoulder.
Watch out, Ryan Clark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he might put Ryan Clark in one of those moves to take him out. But, my other pick, I'm gonna go with the Patriots plus 4. A little bit of a
love it.
Pick. Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, it kind of plays on what you were just talking about. The Eagles, I think, are a huge candidate for regression this year. I think they'll still be a good team,
Yeah.
but they have a lot of young players on the defensive side of the ball. And that usually tends to mistakes, penalties. And you don't want to do that against a Bill Belichick team, especially, we just talked about how important the coordinators can be. The Patriots bring in Bill O'Brien to do the offensive play calling. I think it's just going to help that offense. Like if you look at the Patriots last year, they weren't that bad. The play calling was just terrible.
Because they had a defensive coordinator as their yes.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So I think, getting someone who is more of a offensive minded guy actually calling the plays, I think, I think it'll help them a lot. And I think Bill Belichick will have a great defensive game plan drawn up to slow down Jalen Hurts and that Eagles offense. Plus, I was going to say last year on this very show, I talked about how teams who lose in the Super Bowl week 1 are not very good. And I faded the Bengals last year. They lost outright to the Steelers. So let's roll the dice again and fade the Super Bowl loser. So give me the Pats +4.
I love this, and nothing would make me happier than a huge upset here. If somehow the Patriots, I don't think they will, but if the Patriots somehow win this game, I mean, we talked about this, I think, in the offseason. Tom Brady, right? It's coming back for this game. They're retiring the jersey, doing the whole things. Vibes are going to be very high. This might as well be, so many eyeballs are going to be on this game. It might as well be the Super Bowl for Bill Belichick. You know that this defense is going to be dialed in. I don't trust the offense. I don't trust Mac Jones, but this defense is going to be absolutely dialed. So I love that pick. I'm hoping for like a big upset, even though I definitely don't think that's going to happen. I would never put money on that. I'm taking the Seahawks minus the 5.5 versus the Rams. Look, Seattle's going to be good this year, and the Rams definitely are not going to be good this year, especially with Cooper Kupp out. Stafford is losing his number 1 target. We all know the Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown is one of the best bets in football. Unfortunately, we can't bet that this weekend because he's going to be out. And I feel like the Seahawks really had a great draft this year, right? They got, especially in the backfield, or not the backfield, in the secondary, you got Devin Witherspoon. Also receivers, Jackson Smith and Jigba has been doing really good in the offseason. I'm excited to see him play. And Bobby Wagner is back on the Seahawks from his Seahawks. Ooh, I like that as like a little trolling name for them, the Seahawks. I'll have to think of that when the Niners play the Seahawks. But Bobby Wagner back on the Seahawks where he belongs. I just, even at 5.5, it's interesting to me that this line really hasn't moved much with Cooper Kupp out. I think that the Seahawks are going to win this game. I believe that this game is in Seattle as well. 12 men are going to be fired up. The Rams just don't have the firepower to get this. And Geno Smith got paid, started the season really strong last year. I think this is an easy W for the Seahawks, and I like them to cover.
Yeah, I love that play. I'm very high on the Seahawks this year. I actually like them to win that division. Sorry, Katie. No knock on your Niners, but as you know, I'm the 49er mush. Maybe that's a good thing for you. But yeah, I think the Seahawks did a great job drafting last year and this year. So they've given Geno Smith even more weapons. You put Jackson Smith and Jigba with a DK Metcalf and a Tyler Lockett and all, Walker in the backfield. The offense has a ton of talent around Geno Smith this year. So yeah, I'm expecting big things from the Seahawks. And I said it on the last show that I did with you and Danny. I think the Rams are a candidate to finish the season with the worst record in the NFL because this is their only year they have a draft pick. And Caleb Williams coming out of USC. So I think the Rams will be in full tank mode to try and get Caleb Williams next year in the draft.
Well, and it'd just be the most LA thing to do, to go and get the quarterback from USC. Everybody thought it was the Cardinals, but I agree with you. And so speaking of being the 49ers mush, what are you doing on that game?
Yep. So I'm going to go with the Steelers on the money line. You can get it. It's +110.
Yep.
I think the Steelers I think they're one of the teams no one's real. I mean, maybe people are, but I don't really see a ton of people talking about them this year. Kenny Pickett was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL last year, lowest interception rate. Pickens, right? We've seen Pickens in preseason. He's going absolutely crazy. They still have Najee Harris, TJ Watt. There's a ton of talent on defense. And then you got Mike Tomlin. The guy's never had a losing season in 16 years as a head coach of the Steelers. So when you got someone like that anchoring and, controlling the locker room, keeping guys in check, I like the Steelers this year. And I think they start the year off right and get the win at home.
I hope you're wrong, obviously, and I'm not taking that bet, but I don't actually hate this bet. We do know that Kyle Shanahan offenses take a while to rev up here, and the Steelers are what 3-0, I think, in their last opening games. This one's at home. Kenny Pickett has been dealing in the offseason. And then, yeah, TJ Watt is just a game wrecker. So I worry about Purdy. I'm very happy that Nick Bosa deal got done. $171 million. So he's going to be out there. So Kenny Pickett is in danger as well. Both of these quarterbacks are going to be under a lot of pressure, which is why in this game, I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under 41. It was like, 42 and a half. I think that was the opening line. I still like it at the under 41. I think, again, the Niners offense, even though this is an extremely potent offense, it does take them usually a while to get up and moving, and they're up against a really mean front. And I do think the secondary for the Steelers is also pretty legit. So I have a feeling this is going to be a low-scoring game. We might get under 40. So I'm going to lock in the under for that game. But I don't actually hate that bet for you. So what's a total that you're looking at?
Yeah, so I got a few here. We're going to go first one, Giants, Dallas, under 46 and a half. So we got a division game, primetime game. Football fans love betting the over. It's just,
especially on
bet
those
the over. Yeah, exactly. So, but I think division rivals, the Cowboys lose their offensive coordinator from the past few seasons when their offense has been so prolific. We talked about Dak Prescott and his struggles. I see this being like a 24-21 type of football game. And that brings us to the under. So, yeah, I like the under a lot there, 46 and a half.
Another 46 that I like is, and I talked about this earlier, is that Rams and Seahawks. Now, I do think that the Rams are going to have a hard time scoring and getting the ball over, but I think the Seahawks team is just going to run and pass all over them. I think they get over 46. I wouldn't be surprised, if the Seahawks get over 30 points versus the Rams here. So I'm going to take that over. Is there another total you're looking at?
Yeah, I like that over, especially when you factor Jalen Ramsey leaves, that Bobby Wagner leaves, right? A lot of their key cogs on defense are now gone. So I like that over. I'm going to go another over I like is the Packers Bears over 42. It's weirdly low, and Danny talks about it a lot. When it's that low, they set it that low for a reason.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I could see this game just being an absolute shootout for some reason. I think Justin Fields will probably be running all over the field, doing crazy things. I think Jordan Love is going to surprise a lot of people this year. So that's a game I could see both teams really putting up some points, and I like the over in that one.
I love that too. And then you're looking at the total for tonight's game too.
Yep. Yeah. Chiefs Lions. So there's a trend I bet. And again, the trend is your friend till the end, but
Until it's not.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a little different here because this is the season opener on Thursday night, but in Thursday night football games, when the total opens 52 points or higher, the under hits at like a ridiculous rate.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's different variables that are coming in. Like during the season, a Thursday night game is a shorter turnaround. Guys are more banged up. So there's more reason to play the under. But 53 and a half, I think, is too many points week one. So it's a risky one because the Lions don't, last year we saw the Lions get into some crazy shootouts, right? It was like a 49-46 game with the Seahawks. But I'm gonna take, bite the bullet there and take the
Plug
under.
the nose. Plug the nose. Yeah. Look, we had Danny on Monday, and I was like, he was taking the over, was leaning over. And I was like, I lean under. Now we have seen a little bit of a shift here in the points considering Travis Kelce went out. So it was a little bit higher even just on Monday, or Tuesday. Sorry, I keep saying Monday because it's normally a Monday pod, but we actually filmed it on Tuesday because obviously Monday was Labor Day weekend.
Right.
But I lean under on this one too, just based on the trends. And again, from what we know on week one matchups, the under is usually the key here. So I agree. I mean, again, but you're going to close your eyes, plug your nose, and just see how this one moves out. But and maybe the under in the first half, sometimes they start to heat up in the second half. We do know that Patrick Mahomes gets that look in his eye sometimes. Let's say that the Chiefs do get down a little bit and they can start really getting aggressive there. All right, let's get propping. Let's look at some prop bets for the weekend. I will start. Now, we already know that my dog of the day or of the weekend is Miami to win outright. And I do think that the rush game is going to be a huge part of this. So give me Raheem Mosterati over 52 and a half rush yards. It's at minus 115. Chargers weren't so great against the run last year. They allowed a league high of 5.6 yards per carry. And their interior defensive line still isn't that strong to me. And, McDaniels did apologize to his running back room saying, hey guys, I didn't utilize you enough last year. That's going to change this year. We know that McDaniels comes from a Shanahan tree of coaching that is very much running back by committee. But I do think that Raheem Mostert fits the scheme the best and is going to kind of fit into that RB1 role. I also think they're going to be trying to protect Tua a little bit more, right? By running the ball, taking a little bit of pressure off of him, especially here in the beginning against people like Joey Bosa that are going to be coming at him. So I think he's going to get, 15, 17 rush attempts, and that's going to get us over this 52.5.
I love that, especially we've seen it, right? Like the MO to beating some of these more prolific quarterbacks is run the ball, control the clock, and keep them on the sideline. So best way to beat the Chargers, keep Justin Herbert off the field and don't let him do what he does. So yeah, I like that one a lot. So my props, they all kind of play in with one another, and I'm just hoping to hit one here. If we hit one, we're profiting.
Yeah.
So two of them, I'm going to play an angle on rookie quarterbacks, right? We've seen it in years past when they get down into the red zone, things get tighter, the game speeds up a little. And if you can run, sometimes they just scamper on into the end zone. So the first one, Bryce Young, anytime touchdown, plus 500.
Let's go.
Yeah, plus 500 is pretty crazy for that. Like he can run. If the Falcons defense, which they can do, if they start getting pressure on him, why can't he just roll out a little bootleg and run it in? So plus 500, I think way too high there. So I'm going to go Bryce Young, anytime touchdown, plus 500.
I love that. I also feel like with these rookie quarterbacks too, especially the ones that are really mobile, they get a little scared in these games, and then they just run. You know what I mean? And sometimes they shouldn't even be doing it. But they're like, I'm just going to take off here. And so I do think that in and around the goal line, we could see Anthony Richardson. I love that. I love that a lot. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts for an anytime touchdown. And look, I'm hoping for the upset. Okay. I'm with you on that +4. But one thing we know is Jalen Hurts for an anytime touchdown is one of the best bets in football. It's at +115, should be -120 as far as I'm concerned. The guy had 13 rushing touchdowns last season. So give me Jalen Hurts to get at least one in the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, you bet that every game last year. You were a happy bettor if you were riding the Jalen Hurts train. So the next rookie quarterback we're going with, you alluded to him, Anthony Richardson, plus 150. Coach coming over from the Eagles. I think they're going to really try and model what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts last year. You put Anthony Richardson in there, who's a little bigger, more athletic than Jalen Hurts. I think Anthony Richardson is going to have a very good year and surprise a lot of people. So I'm going to go with him, anytime touchdown, plus 150. Another rookie quarterback that, like you said, sometimes when the pressure gets up, they get a little rattled and they just run because why not? You can do it. So I'm going to go with him to score a touchdown as well, plus 150.
Yeah, I had a little sixth sense that you were going to take that as well. All right, and this is my Niners one. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey over 59.5 rushing yards. Look, the Steelers' run defense is good. All right, top 10 last season. But when looking at top running backs, they allowed 12 running backs to surpass 60 yards last season, including twice in the divisional round. You look at people like J.K. Dobbins and Nick Chubb, who, of course, we know are top running backs, which Christian McCaffrey definitely is. And McCaffrey cleared this number in 6 of the last 9 games. Now, I know that people are worried about McCaffrey and how he is the Swiss Army knife, and he's going to be doing some, pass catching, and he's going to be running, he's going to be doing all of it. And I think, yes, that's going to be true. But I also think that he is really a true running back first. So I think he gets about 15 carries, and which is a good workload for him. So I like him over this mark at 60.
Okay. All right. Not surprised you had to throw one Niner in there, right? I respect it.
Come on.
Plus, I think McCaffrey's coming into this year with a little chip on his shoulder, right? There was a lot of talk about the Niners were dumb for trading for him. He, could have won Offensive Player of the Year last year.
He's winning it this year.
Yeah,
he's winning it this year.
You and everyone else are saying, we'll see. We'll see at the end of the season.
He's the favorite for a reason. I mean, you think that this guy fully entrenched in a Shanahan offense and all the things that he can do. And the fact that he hasn't won it, give me Christian McCaffrey all year long. And he wasn't even voted. He was an alternate, right, to the Pro Bowl last year. He wasn't immediately, which is just insanity, absolute insanity.
Yeah.
All right, are we done with props? You got one more prop?
I got one more. We're going Odell Beckham Jr. I mean,
ooh, OBJ.
The guy's plus 200 to score a touchdown. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Didn't play all last year. You listen to his interviews. He's pumped up for this year. Then Lamar Jackson finally has a new receiver, like an actual wide receiver to throw the ball to. we saw it in years past when like Tom Brady got Randy Moss, Donovan McNabb got Terrell Owens. These quarterbacks finally get these elite wide receivers, and they want to show off the new toy they have. So I think Lamar Jackson's going to be looking early and often for Odell Beckham Jr. And I think people forget just how good Odell is.
Yeah.
When he's on his game and healthy, he's top.
Yeah.
He's elite, right? So plus 200 for him to score a touchdown, I think is egregious. I'll take that all day.
I love that. And to go back to people kind of doubting OBJ, it's like you go back to that Rams Bengals Super Bowl, and people were like, oh, I don't know how productive he's going to be. And then before he got injured, he was balling. I mean, he was on track to have multiple touchdowns in that game. So I love that. I'm going to tail that one with you. But all right, the time has come for the very first 2023 NFL season. Mox Locks, your top lock for week 1. What you got, Kenny?
It's the Giants. It's got to be the Giants. I think the Cowboys offense going to regress tremendously. I already talked about it earlier, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. I think the Giants are still going to improve from what we saw last year. I think Danny Dimes, as much as I hate to admit it, I think he takes a step up. Saquon Barkley, he bought into the team, right? He wanted a big deal, didn't really get what he wanted, but he still signed, he still bought in, he showed up to camp, and he's playing this year. So I just think he talked about it last year, like Dable, the atmosphere in the locker room, like he's getting these players to buy into what he's giving them.
Yeah.
So I like the Giants this year. I like them a lot, and it pains me to say that. Like it hurts. A little piece of me dies every time I say that. But yeah, on these primetime games are king. I hit 13 straight last year, so hopefully we start off on a right foot. Give me the Giants plus 3.5.
Let's ride, Kenny. I'm going to take that with you as well. I just think the Giants at home, prime time, giving them 3.5 points against these. And again, everybody's high on the Cowboys, and I can certainly understand why. But what have the Cowboys really shown us, right? So not much. And this Texas Coast offense, like, okay, and McCarthy, calling the plays here. So I think they scapegoated the F out of Kellen Moore too. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this offense maybe even takes a slight step back with McCarthy drawing up the plays there. But give me the G-Men plus the 3.5 all day. That will be my Mox Lock as well. Kenny, thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to making money with you all season long. This has been Moxie Bets presented by Caesar Sportsbook. Don't forget to follow us on social at Moxie Bets. Good luck on your bets this weekend. We'll see you Monday.